ask you something just to
Right.
clear the air out.
Right.
Are any of your homosexual friends gay?
Not all of them. Some of them are.
So what about the ones that are homosexual but are not gay?
Well, I define, it's in my book, Recent
Oh,
Argument.
well, if it's in your book, then I must know about it.
But it's not in Latin.
Every single one of our listeners must know what's in your book, especially this one obscure thing about how gay people are not homosexual.
I define a homosexual as an individual who prefers having sex in romantic relationships with persons of their same gender. There are only two genders, okay, in my definition. Now, a gay person is a homosexual who politicizes their sexuality for purposes of gaining power or influence or notoriety.
It's so gay.
Yeah, it's very gay. It's a very gay definition, by the way. It's a very gay definition.
Well, I mean,
so in other words,
a lot of people that hear that it makes sense. So why don't we just say, "Oh, that person's a homosexual"? Why do we say that person's gay?
Well, because the liberals, the Marxists, cultural Marxists, they have hijacked a perfectly good word. The word gay, if you look it up, even now, at least the second meaning is going to be happy, carefree. You know, like
third or fourth meaning, but
no, okay. You
look at the Merriam-Webster.
I know you consult really lousy dictionaries. I'm going to tell you something.
You mean real dictionaries that have
lousy ones
before the cultural Marxists took it over?
Do you know when it happened that the word gay actually became synonymous with homosexual?
I would say 1940s, about when you were born.
1969.
Actually, the exact day you were born.
1969. How very appropriate, right? 69, very appropriate, right? And it happened in Greenwich Village at a homosexual bar, okay? Prior to this period,
not a gay bar, but a homosexual bar.
But the word gay had not been hijacked yet.
Right.
Before this event happened in 1969, in the summer of 1969, before that, homosexuals were referred to as queers. Okay, if you were British, they were puffs
or British
males. But no, in America, homosexuals were called queers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, but in 1969, what happened was there was this bar called the Stonewall Bar in Greenwich Village in New York. And since it was a notorious homosexual bar, the New York City police would routinely raid the bar because at this particular point in American history, homosexual actions, even kissing or holding hands or fondling or groping in public could be actionable in court. And so the police would rush into the bar, look around with their flashlights and see a guy groping somebody's dick or ass or whatever it was, and they would arrest this person, beat them up, throw them in a paddy wagon, run them downtown, and throw them into jail so that they could rack up their arrest numbers. They could, they could get compensation. How many people they arrest? Well, it turns out that the homosexuals decided, hey, we're going to fight back. Next time this happens, we're going to break off table legs and chairs, and we're going to beat the shit out of cops. And they did.
That's exactly what they did, huh?
They did. It was called the Stonewall Riot of 1969. And here's what happened. The New York Times, this is happening in New York, and they're all very liberal. So they rushed down there to cover these riots. The riots lasted a couple of weeks. And every time the police would try to go in, the homosexuals would beat them up. So it was pretty embarrassing that the cops were getting beat up by a bunch of fairies and queers, right? So the New York Times reporter
really goes to show New York,
NYPD. So the New York Times reporter would have to go back to the office. I mean, you're a journalist now. You have to go back to the office, but they didn't have any computers. So every time the word homosexual would have to be used, they have to HOMOSEXUA. And it drove them crazy. It drove them nuts because it's all about homosexuals. It's just a big word. They don't like to. The press likes short things, itty bitty little thing. So their main reporter rushed back down to the leaders, and they found one of the leaders, and they said, "Hey, we don't want to be typing HOMOSE. Do you have a shorter word?" And the guy says, "Yeah, gay. We call each other gay." The reporter said, "Wow, gay! Oh,
And then he very gaily ran right back. He very gaily ran right back home.
He ran right back, and he put the and
G-A-Y-G-A-Y-G-A-Y. Yeah.
And after this event, the New York Times Book of Style, okay? Every newspaper had a book of style, which means there are certain words you can use and certain words you cannot use, like the N word. You can't use that, okay? So now you can't use the word homosexual. And you know what the reason was? The reason why the Times justified using the word gay, hijacking the word gay, was because homosexuals were offended by the clinical and biological facticity.
Dear goodness, you actually say what they actually are versus...
You can't do that.
Versus inserting a whole new element into the equation.
Into the abyss. Yes, of course. Yes. Anyway, that's how the word gay was hijacked by the cultural Marxists. Okay? Just thought you'd like to know. Thought our viewers would like to know.
Get back your dictionary.
Oh, it's so gay.